Well, I'm getting ready to get the bus ready for Friday evening, and didn't film some of it. Really, I just put some water in and turned the pumps on, flushed all the air out of the system, got the toilet working. I do have this piece right here that I tried to glue together. I need to get another one of those and the toilet will be fine. Ran the generator and it did well. Just turned the aqua hot on, and it's a good thing, but it turned on, so it's hard to fix it if it's not broke. Didn't really smoke. I got a little bit coming out. It's kind of hard to see it. When I first turned it on, no smoke came out. Now I've got a little bit coming out, so I'm just going to let it burn for a while. Sometimes the aqua hot won't turn on and sometimes it will, so I think it's the brain inside. And I just ordered a new one, but they're like 500 bucks. But I think I've kind of diagnosed everything, and I think that's about the only thing left. One thing that I did find out was when I turned the generator on, so the batteries are like at 82%, but with 3 of those batteries, the voltage is high enough and it doesn't kick down. I think I need to adjust the settings just a little bit, modify them, because when I turned the generator on and turned these on, it went straight into float. And I turned like all the lights on inside, the 24 volt compressor, as much as I could to draw a load on those batteries, and it wouldn't budge it. So I couldn't get the inverters to like charge it up. And I don't know why it says it's at 82%. I don't know why it says it's at 82%, but it won't initiate a charge. It's got to be in my settings. So pretty happy, I guess, with where I'm at. The one thing I do want to do is that wake speed. For some reason, when I run it down the road, it's running the batteries up to, it goes up to like 29 volts for not very long, and then it goes into float or storage mode. So I got to hook the computer up to that and see what's going on with it. So this is early morning Friday before we take off. I put the charger, I'm just playing with stuff. The charger that I have at 6 amps, which is it's 111 watts, and it still doesn't provide enough. I was just wanting to get a little bit down. I'm gonna throw a solar panel on it. I've got the refrigerator running. Just kind of playing with what kind of power needs do I need. Anyway, got the bed made, clothes in. I was able to fix, I got a vent fan up here, so just for reference, it's in the kitchen area. If you pull this down, this is just my coach, not all Prevost. There's a fan up there, and the motor right up there in that corner, it just kept running and running. And so I ended up taking all this apart, crawling on the roof, and found out that the arm that lifts it up and down, that little pin came out. So I was able to stick the pin back in, and need 2 hands for this. There we go. This thing's what, 2000, so 23 years old, and just had a pin fall out. Those fantastic fans are fantastic. So I got that working. Got some tools on here. I did check the generator. It worked. The aqua hot worked, which is good, but we'll see if it works at the campground. I usually just turn on the electric though, so I don't blow diesel fumes everywhere. The toilet, my beloved toilet back here, I got this contraption. It uses air and water to run the toilet. This piece that like tightens it down cracked, and I can't find anything that's the same size. It's like 1 3/8 and an odd thread. So I ended up getting that hose clamp on there to hold it together and tightened it down, and so far nothing leaks. The PSI and everything works good, so I keep that off just so I can see if there's any water that sprays. Basically it's like a vacuum breaker. The water comes in, and then this whole assembly, it just pushes on, and the only way it stays on is with pressure right there. So I don't know if you can see that or not, but I got it working. I think we're ready to go. I'm gonna check the air in the tires before we take off. I did get the valve stem changed up front. They had to, pull the tire for it. So $60 to pull the tire and put in a $2 valve stem. The one in the back, my tag, I went to air it up and I couldn't get the air to quit coming out. And it was the actual stem inside. You can put a tool in there and tighten it. So that's all they had to do. So everything's good. So one other thing is my wake speed in here. I noticed driving down the road, it would get my batteries to like 29 volts. And so I hooked the laptop into it yesterday and just kind of went through all the programs. And I don't know if I found a setting or not, but I want to give it a try before we take off and see if it gets to 29 volts and then it jumps down to float. So it only goes there for a little bit, but a little bit's too much in my book. So I'm just wanting to try to get this taken care of before we take off on the trip. And once we come back, what I'm going to work on is these batteries. They've got a BMS inside, and there's a CAN network, and so the CAN will talk to the servo. And so I've got to get the settings from EG4 because they've worked with Victron on them, but I don't know like the baud rate and the settings in the servo. But basically, instead of the Victron system acting as kind of the battery management system, it will use the CAN information from the battery. So then this will end up telling the Victron stuff, you know, hey, I'm on full charge or give me more. And then it will also work with this guy so that they can all kind of talk to each other. Right now I just have the same settings in this as there's settings in the battery. So I guess let me start over. So the one thing with a BMS on a battery is if you charge it, if it's too cold or you go to too high of settings or too low of settings, the battery will shut itself off and then you lose everything. So what I'm trying to do is get all of these things to talk together. And I have the same settings that this thing will shut down. I've got a factor of safety in the Victron and a factor of safety in here. And so everything kind of just works now, but I'd like to get this to talk via the CAN. So kind of splitting hairs because it works, but I'd like to do that. The other thing I'd like to do is I've got solar panels and like to get those hooked up to here. That way I don't have to plug it in at all. So I've got that to do, but to do that I've got to pull the fridge out, run all the wires down. As I was saying before, I've got a trip planned for the end of this month, gonna run out to Texas, and essentially the guy's got 2 inverters. I'm gonna hook up the wake speed and all of this stuff exactly the same way. So I'm kind of looking forward to that. It'll be fun. But I think the only thing I'm going to do today before we take off is check to make sure the wake speed doesn't overcharge the batteries, air up the tires, and then we'll take off and we'll go down south. Well, we are off. It's my daughter and I. Got air in the tires. Everything's looking good. The Routes are in this and that. Got a 2-hour drive. It's 71 degrees out, sunny, pretty nice. I just got to get out of the neighborhood here, and then I can hopefully smooth sail into rush hour traffic in Indianapolis, and then we'll get there. So I'll probably film a little bit on the road, and then see if I can get my daughter to get us pulling into the campsite. And here we are running down the interstate. Finally got south of Indianapolis on 65 here. There's a mess. Indiana's just a mess. But we've got 25 miles left. That one says 25, that one says 30. Who knows? Let's keep chugging down the road here. Winds are pretty bad too. It's not that bad in the bus driving in it, except for just fuel economy. But heading down south, everything's good so far. Well, this is the Jackson Hill campground, Jackson County Park, and it's connected to the Hoosier Horse Park, which is probably a half mile down that way. It's really nice, clean, level place, real nice. So here's our spot. Let's see if I can pull myself. Better back in there. Got a tree on the other side. I think I can come out wide enough to get around the tree. It's not going to be pretty. Well, we are back and having lunch. So we've just got some sandwiches and some milk. And daughter's making, I don't know what over here. And I got the TV on. It's really nice out. We're plugged in, and I think that's the toaster going there. And batteries are charged up. It's a little windy outside, so I pulled the awning in just quite a bit. It seems like it gives it a little more support. It's not as scary, but just have the fans on and got a nice breeze coming in one window and going out the other. But slept in here last night. It was nice. Took a shower this morning. There's my laundry out there, but it's been good so far. So here's coming into the actual horse park. Got a bunch of stables, and then I'll show you where they actually do the dressage event. Well, we're here at the campground and we're gonna do some dinner. I don't use the grill on the bus anymore. It's got enough smoke that comes out and then fills like the inside of that up. But I ended up pulling that hood in because it was so windy. But everything's been good. I think it's supposed to rain in the morning, so we'll eat some dinner, probably go on a bike ride, and then we'll get everything but the electric ready to go. Camp Atterbury out here, I believe. Freaking awesome. Those are some big trucks. And there's the caboose. So we're out here, this is our second night, and the park lost power. Up there on the top left, I don't have any incoming power, but I've got so much battery and the inverters are so big, we didn't even know. So we've been sitting here watching TV inside, got everything going, and it just went straight to inverter like a UPS, and so I don't even know. Nobody else has got anything on out there, but I've got 1 day and 17 hours of battery left. So, pretty cool. So I even got the popcorn popper on. It microwave, so it's 1500 watts. I did turn the electric water heater off. That would be 1500 watt hours times 10, 15,000 watts. It'd run my whole battery down to keep hot water for in the morning. So probably just gonna do the aqua hot, but working pretty good. Well, it's the next morning. As you can see, still don't have any power. The numbers over here would show the volts coming in from the shore. We did real well. I've got the water heater on. I put it on for an hour and I had a warm shower. Now I'm running the coffee pot, but I'm at 65%. So the top right one, L1, 1500 watts, that's the coffee pot, and then L2 is the water heater, and my battery's at 65%. So what would be interesting, because the coffee pot and the other one's going to drop off, if I go to here, I have 3 hours. I could run it 3 hours with the coffee pot and the water heater, but of course the water heater's going to turn off and the coffee pot's going to turn off. So I think I've got over a day and a half. That's 30 hours. I don't know. We'll see here after all that's. I'll show you what it is, but it's raining outside now, which is always nice to dump the tanks and drive home, but what are you gonna do? It's been a nice night. Well, I got the power unhooked and turned the air compressor on out there. Got the tanks aired up. We're making some English muffins, just had some coffee there. We're at 62%. Toaster's only pulling 800 watt hours. I gotta get over there, I don't know if you can see it, and dump the tanks. That's the one thing I want to do before we get out of here. I'm hoping I can get around that tree, but I'll get finished up with breakfast and then we'll start this guy up and go dump the tanks, get on the road. Well, we started it up. I got one map that says I-65 is closed and another one that says it's not, but I don't like the way this one, both of them tell me to go unless I don't. So this one's only like 10 minutes longer. I'm gonna go this way, but that's one thing I hate, waiting for the air tanks to air up. Now I gotta go dump the tanks. Well, we're on our way. Here's the Army base. A lot of action and movement in here. Pretty cool. Well, we're smooth sailing. We're 465 west, coming just north of the airport. We're gonna stop at the Loves and fill up with some diesel. Gonna top it off. I'm thinking it'll be 100 gallons because we're right in between half and 3/4, and I figure it's 60 gallons a quarter, so right around 90 to 100 gallons. So we'll see, and it's 347 today, so not too bad compared to $6 it was. So getting gas here at the pump, it says 382 and I get it for 348. I'll show it up there on the top, but we'll see how many gallons I get. I think I'm going to be between 90 and 100. Well, it was close. Got 94 gallons in there, so right in between. So now I got a full tank. Go in and go to the bathroom and head on home. to show you this road. This is freaking terrible. Maybe it didn't look so bad on camera. Avoid Indiana if you can. Just get off of it. I-65, it's terrible. And then take 52. This big curve here used to be a mess. Now it's not anymore. It used to about flip you off the road. It was so bumpy. So they finally redid it. There's the Indiana mess. Once they finish that, they'll go do something else. These roads, terrible. There we go. This might be 60 mile an hour, but it's a pretty doggone nice road. Well, we're almost home here. Getting ready to pull into our addition. Coming up by the bus barn. Good trip. So we'll get home, get it plugged in. We'll see what the wake speed charged it up to. If we were 60%, and I think I've got it limited to 1,000 watts, it's only going to be like 70%, something like that, when I pull in the driveway. So check that out here in a minute. Well, we are home. Coming back here to check the charge. All right, good. So 72%. So I'm doing about 1,000 watts. I can up that to anything I want, really. But just kind of playing with it. 1,000 watts isn't too bad. I'm gonna have solar on top as well. But all in all, a good trip. More videos coming up. I'm probably gonna try to get the solar on top. Then also I'm gonna get ready and go to Texas at the end of this month and put in the same system that I have. So I'll be trying to get the bus ready, get myself ready, get parts ready. And then also I think we're gonna do a race as well. We'll drag race two Prevost H345s. So let me know in the comments who you think's gonna win. My bus or the other bus. I think if both of us can make it up to 60 without causing any damage, it'll be a success. So be interesting to see which one's faster. But catch me on the next videos, hit like, subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.